Hey, what's going on guys? Makeupson here, bringing you the Advanced Warlock Guide. Stay tuned to the end of the video to see a new piece of content known as PvP Rivals. It always seems like we're going back to the basics, yeah? But knowing your class, knowing your roots is important. Hunters had their Night Stalker, Blade Dancer, Gunslinger, while Titans had their Striker, Defender, and Sunbreaker classes. The Warlocks had to make do with their Sunsinger, Voidwalker, and Stormcaller classes. This was the essence for Destiny 1. Destiny 1 had a goal in mind of Attacker, Defender, and Mage. But as time went on, a redesign of classes was long overdue. So the Sunsinger subclass was retooled, repurposed to fit that very role. And in Destiny 2, we received the Dawn Blade. To put it simply, the Pyromancer Sunsinger was now the flame-wielding Dawn Blade. But what is a Flame Dancer exactly? A Flame Dancer can manipulate and control the flames around them and within themselves. This differs from a Pyromancer. While a Pyromancer can only manipulate the flame, a Flame Dancer can control, conjure, and transform the very flame itself. The best example of flame and temperature control is a skill known as Heat Rises. Heat Rises allows you to shatter the bounds that your fellow comrades can't even begin to imagine, while Celestial Fire and Guiding Flame uses an igniting touch to strike foes from a distance or smite those who dare to challenge your flame. While a good offense is a good defense, the Flame Dancing subclass goes above and beyond with its Well of Radiance sanctuary levels of protection, boosting the attack and defense of all allies within and burning those who are considered foes. The Well of Radiance Super is the better version of offensive level capabilities than the Titan Bubble could ever hope to be. In its ultimate form of manipulation, the Warlock turns the very flames themselves into a Dawn Blade. Not very strong at dealing massive amounts of DPS, the Dawn Blade can clear a room of additional enemies with ease. So what is the Stormcaller in D2? The Stormcaller in D2 is a summoner. A summoner can channel, expel, create, and consume all the energies it possesses. While the base mindset of the Arc Soul, also known as a familiar, the Arc Soul has a basic instinct to just attack. This, at the very least, is all it needs to know. While using the Chaos Reach subclass, the ionic traces it creates from its spirits of defeated foes are the very spirit of a Warlock's channeling ability, indulging in the remaining energy in order to further enhance their magical prowess. Summoners should always be summoning. Any damage done by your familiars is a direct extension of your will. With all damage that Arc Soul does, it is counted as damage done by yourself. The exotics that the Stormcaller can use further enhances these summoner-like capabilities. A Voidwalker. One of the most unique classes in Destiny 2, the Voidwalker is neither good nor evil. It is purely a transcendent form of patience and pandemonium. For when the Warlocks sought after more power, they didn't just reach in like the Hunters. They didn't just endure it like the Titans. They entered the Void as Guardians, but exited the Void as Eradicators, as Arcanists. An Arcanist is focused on premeditated points of volatile destruction and spontaneous explosions, to siphon, to extract, and to feed the Void, to feed themselves with more power. Hence the very nature of the Nova Bomb Super, with 3 ways to feed the darkness. To put it simply, the power will reach out, envelop, and consume anything within its reach. So the Shadebinder, the new subclass introduced in Beyond Light, the Shadebinder Warlock is masterful in invocation. The act of recreation of corpses into firebolts, the transmutation of the very air around themselves to shatter frozen foes, and even the power to call forth a minion for eliciting to assist with its wrathful pursuit. While the Shadebinder Warlock has a weird and unique super, there's no mistaking the amount of damage that the Shadebinder Warlock can put out. While encasing its foes in ice and shattering the very air around them to cause massive amounts of damage. When reviewing the Warlocks Exotics, the Warlocks Exotics are unique as they are able to refund energy. They are enhancers to an already stacked amount of abilities that the Warlock can do. An example is that while the Phoenix Protocol refunds energy, the Netherite Sin feeds energy. These are just some small examples of what the Warlock Exotics can do. So going back to the bond, finisher mods have been in the game for quite some time, but as all things, there's a time and a place. For PvP engagements, these mods will be useless, but for real-world applications such as PvE, finisher mods provide everything the Warlock needs to gain in power. An instant melee on command, an instant grenade on command, or an instant rift on command. Unlike the other classes, the Warlock utilizes their super when it's needed, because it's an ad clearing super. Therefore, a Warlock should not be mindful of just a bit of a sacrifice for the exchange of instant power of a melee gain or grenade gain. You don't need to use your super for boss DPS. That's not what the Warlocks are for. They've always been made for ad clear. So, just to give you a little visual of what the Warlock is capable of, utilizing the tools in your toolbox, utilizing the exotics that enhance, that siphon, that drain, that feed back into you, will give you a greater advantage over the enemy. Now, putting this in PvP terms, it's a little bit more difficult. But a Warlock in PvE, player versus enemy, while fighting the computer, the Hive, the Fallen, the Vex, the Taken, let's go over a little visual, right? In the background gameplay here, visual and vocal explanation of what synergy is. The current subclass, Nova Warp, has a base cooldown of about 9 minutes and 16 seconds. That's at base. Tier 3, lower, whatever, you know? But for the build you're seeing in the background here, my intellect here is about a 4. So the base cooldown for a 4 is about 8 minutes and 46 seconds and some change. For the full cooldown, but I mean, you can see where I'm going at with this, right? Now, it doesn't take me long to get my super back in this area. It's not going to take me 8 minutes and 46 seconds, as you can see. You're not going to sit here for 8 minutes and 46 seconds watching me regather my super. So, how do I get my super back? Well, using Chaos Accelerant, a Void Charged with Light mod, having 4 stacks of Charged with Light, throwing my grenade gives me 40% of my super. Okay, but that's not enough. Also, my weapons, some of them have Thresh on them, such as the other side that I have equipped in my heavy slot. Every kill I get with that sword feeds back super energy into my character. Now, with the changes that they made in Destiny 2, doing damage, receiving damage, gains me super energy. So the more damage that I do, the more super energy that I gain. But that's not enough. Okay, combine that with Mantle of Battle Harmony. Any kill that I get with an energy weapon or a weapon that has energy that matches the subclass that I'm using feeds me more super energy. This is how I'm able to get more super energy. This is how I'm able to generate orbs of light. This is how I'm able to feed my super back into me. This is how I'm able to hold on to 4 charges of light, throw my grenade, and get 40% of my super back. This cuts down significantly from that 8 minutes and 46 seconds down to about, let's say, 2 minutes and 46 seconds. I didn't time it, but it's not 8 minutes. It's definitely not that long. So that's explaining the synergy in the build. Now, if we think about the future changes that are coming up without being able to generate orbs of power, does this build still work? But it does. The Gnawing Hunger has Demolitionist on it. Demolitionist gives me grenade energy. Grenade energy is what I need to use the Chaos Accelerant. The Chaos Accelerant gives me super. The kills give me super. Damage gives me super. You see where I'm going with this? I'm focused on my super with this build. If I was more focused on melees or grenades, that'd be a whole different build. it'd be a whole different video at this point. I'd have different background gameplay showing you of what it's like to manipulate to get your grenade and melee back. But you can already do that with the finisher mods that I told you about earlier in the video with consuming a little bit of your super. But putting it all together, if we go into a more unique build, 2 Warlocks together combined with 2 underused exotics. Now, I'm using the Sanguine Alchemy. Sanguine Alchemy, bottom tree, arc, gets me the Arc Soul when I use my Rift. My buddy is using the Promethean Spurs, which allows with any kill that's done, Arc Soul, weapon, energy, heavy, for a double Rift to drop, healing, and empowering. Combine Sanguine Alchemy with Promethean Spurs, now you have an everlasting, healing, and enhancement Rift. If you guys would like to see more unique builds like this, more combination builds, stay tuned to the Warlock Advanced Guide, and I'll put more of those out there. Now don't go anywhere just yet. I have new content to show you in this video called PvP Rivals. The opponent doesn't know they're my rival. It's like, have you ever met an opponent on the battlefield and thought, I feel like this guy's choosing to fight only me? We take that idea here on the channel and dramatically retell the story of 2 Guardians engaged in a war of territory and glory. And this is PvP Rivals. So let's begin. I remember the first time I met my first rival. We were engaged in a heated battle, 2 versus 1. A teammate of mine had pushed, but one Guardian had disengaged from that fight. I pursued to eliminate that Guardian, and that was the first time I saw his name, Coach Creams. I died shortly after, not even knowing that we were fated to fight to the death for the rest of the match. Shortly after, what felt like 2 seconds later, walking into a darkened doorway, there he was yet again. Instantly, he meets my fire with his ice. And with being able to activate my dodge, Coach Light shifted in and secured the kill. Frustrated at the previous encounters, I set my sights on his teammates. One after another they fail. But, soon enough, as I was just getting into the flow of combat, with being able to snipe to perfection, while controlling the lanes of the air, I looked down on my opponents, and there he was yet again. There was Coach Creams. Was there something I was doing wrong? Was it my loadout? Was it my mods? Ground advantage didn't work. Aerial control didn't seem to phase him. I couldn't decide. Again and again I changed my gear, but it wasn't enough. Superior aerial advantage, I said. Psh, I might as well have been a billboard sign for free kill, enter here. Eager for Coach to appear, I took pause and waited with my sniper rifle. Tunnel vision is what they call it. And at all costs, Coach was to be stopped. Nevertheless, time was closing in, and I couldn't let this Guardian get the better of me. But hindsight's 20/20. What would a kill like that cost? Come to find out, it costs everything. We were winning the battles, but I felt like I was losing the war. Taking my final shots, I set my sights out on another target. But fate, oh, fate's a tricky thing, had something else in mind. Nagging me to my left, I turned to see what was there. And don't you know it, Coach was ready for one more showdown. By the time I had chosen to engage, I was already low health, grenades and melee uncharged, super energy depleted. At that time, it was just me and him. In the last second of that battle, it was decided. I had won. I don't know if he ran out of bullets or his gun got jammed, but in that moment, whatever happened, happened. No, it wasn't long after that I had seen the respawn screen, but it didn't matter. We had already won. The after action report stated we were neck and neck for kills, but in some way I felt like he was still better. I looked over my notes in the tower and I'll figure out what made Coach tick. But here in regular control, I may not find my answer. To counter another Guardian like Coach again, I'll go to the moon and see if the answer I seek is there.